So what? It's just sex.
Wait a minute.
Hey everybody, I'm Ron.
I'm Janelle.
And you're listening to
So What? It's Just Sex.
This podcast takes on the topics of sex in and out of relationships.
And we aim to normalize talking about sex by removing the stigma of asking for what you want in and out of the bedroom.
From time to time, we'll have guests on the show.
And go out into the world and explore what sex looks like for us and other people.
Come with us on this wild ride, and hopefully we will open up your sexual world or at least make you feel normal.
You can find us on most podcast platforms.
Like iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play Store, etc.
And of course, don't forget to follow us or subscribe, and please rate us.
You can also visit our website, sowhatitsjustsex.com.
And our email address is info@sowhatitsjustsex.com.
We're also on social media at SoWhatIt'sJustSX on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook, it's at SoWhatIt'sJustSex. Also, we're on Podbean.com.
And of course, all of these are on our website.
Thank you so much for listening.
We hope you enjoy this episode as much as we enjoy recording it.
This is So What? It's Just Sex. And here we are with another episode. What's up, baby?
Hi.
And guess what? We have guests.
Oh my God.
So let's let them introduce themselves.
Yes.
To my left, we have
Rogelio. Wow. Roger.
It's Roger. And then to my right, we have
Mittens and Momo.
And in case you think that those voices sound familiar, and it's because they do.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to Napa.
And they're in the room with us.
Yes.
Not just on, like, over from afar. Like, they're in
is this
front
real?
of us.
Is this real?
This is fucking real.
Is this real? Is this really happening?
It's surreal. We were just talking about
A little
that.
bit, yeah.
So-
Really it's cool though.
So
But
off
it's
the
super
pages of Twitter, you have manifested yourselves into
Yeah.
reality.
Yes. Materialized
They
into
do
real people.
exist, right?
Yeah. So I think I was telling you off the air that the Who's Your Daddy episode is the biggest episode downloads that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then it's weird because I was just telling Janelle this the other day, and then suddenly I get like, you guys are like, we're coming down, and then I'm like, oh my God, they're really gonna be here. It's like we have to podcast. It's like who's your daddy part deux. I'm not sure if I want to call it part deux or volume 2 or another one.
And another one.
Another one. Yeah, right. Who's your daddy?
we the
Another
best.
one.
I like the park deal.
Yeah, we the best podcast. So, what brings you all to our neck of the woods?
We came just for vacation more than anything. Well, first we came because Mittens has never been to San Francisco.
Yeah, it's my first time down here.
So
Just so exciting. It's
Yeah.
such a cool city. Oh my gosh.
Now, you just got here today, so you really haven't seen much of it.
no, just from the car.
Awesome. So, now that you're in town, it's Pride weekend. You're going to be in San Francisco. Fucking exciting.
Yeah. It honestly, we didn't even think that it would align with this date, and like, I don't know, it just seems kind of cool. It's like the opportunity's there. Why not take it? You know?
Yeah, and especially when you can like sleep the whole way because you drove, right, Roger?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
slept too
Oh, good.
on the road.
You just slept. Well,
It was terrifying.
That's why we have cruise control.
We did okay.
Survived.
You made it. You're here.
Yeah.
You survived.
I have to point out, I'm so excited. Mittens is just constantly talking this time.
Yeah.
You were quite.
She was nervous too. It's funny.
No.
You weren't very talkative the last time till the end. Like when I was like, okay, everybody, it's time to go. You're like, and then all of these things.
Alcohol helps the comfort level.
does.
So the more you drink, the more you want to
Yeah.
talk. So in your defense, if you just keep drinking, you just
be
keep
fine.
talking.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
exactly.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine. I mean, it's the same for me. Every time we podcast, I have to drink wine beforehand.
No,
I mean, I
the
can
first
talk,
time it was
but-
interesting. I thought like, oh, this is gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I saw you guys on video, and I got all shaky. I was like, okay, never mind.
Wait, I actually am scared.
Yes.
No, it's totally fine. I think I was
Yeah.
scared the first like couple times, but
Yeah.
now I realize like I don't know. If like people are interested in hearing me, they're gonna listen, and if they're not gonna listen. Like whatever, fuck it. I'm just gonna say what I want to say.
Hey, yeah.
So if you got something to say, just say it. You're good.
Nice.
You're in a safe space. You're in a safe space here. No judgment or whatever.
And I just think it's awesome to have you guys here. This is
Yeah.
fucking really
It's
cool.
nice to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is it's like
you.
it's like holy crap. Like when you guys got out the car and I was like, wow, they're real people.
See what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's different. It's a different
Yeah.
experience. You
Yeah.
meet people in real life, and you get to know them at their core. And I don't know. It's fun.
I don't know. I walked in
Oh
here
my
and I saw you by
goodness.
yourself first, and I'm like,
Is this a weird?
is this a trap? Are we gonna walk in there? And
Yeah, no, it's definitely a trap, and it's a trap of nothing happened. You were like,
trap.
yeah, the trap is that nothing
It's
happened.
more like at like
Oh,
7:00. I was like, "Are we having guests or not?" And Ron's like, "Oh wait, I think they're on their way." And I'm like, "Dude, I haven't even brushed my teeth today." And he was like, "Oh, okay, get in the shower." I'm like, "All right, like let me go do that."
And then I was like, let me see if they're have you left
they're
yet?
here.
Oh, they're here.
And so that's how that happened.
And we saw you outside. Like, hey, come on in. It's perfectly fine. She's taking a shower. Come
Yeah,
on.
and I had the shower on.
No, every time, anytime, like I have like you know, where like fucking people, we meet people on Tinder or whatever, and it's like the moment like there's a single guy that wants to meet up, I like instantly think I'm gonna be murdered. Like it just goes straight to
Yeah.
murder. Why does it go straight to murder? Like people just want to have sex. They don't want to murder me per se. I don't think most of them probably don't, but I think in my mind. It goes straight to murder every single time.
You know what though? It's not a bad thing
Yeah.
because it's just an auto defense mechanism.
Yeah.
So once you get past that, is when you realize, okay, this is a safe environment.
It's
It's also,
fine.
but I do it all the time. I
Yeah.
do the exact same thing as you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, what are the possible outcomes
Right.
of this scenario?
Yes,
and
like
where's the exit?
Yeah, like
plan?
worst
but
case scenario,
You're
what's
the
about to
murderer,
happen?
Roger. But you're the murderer. You're like, how could I get away with murdering this person?
I'm gonna say like that comedian said. One of the I don't know who said that, but it's like I'm gonna murder that pussy.
Roger's murdering pussy. Someone called 911.
No. I can't. Someone said it.
That pussy's like, I died so well. Tell my
comedian.
asshole I love her. No, but that's totally true. Like I was thinking about that. Like when I go to meet, like when we go to meet with someone, if it's a female only, I'm like, that person probably thinks that I'm gonna try to murder them.
Yeah.
And I tried it, and then Janelle will go to the bathroom or something. I'll be like, just to let you know, if anyone was gonna kill you, it's Janelle.
That's not
But don't tell her I said that. And then she comes back out. And the
murder
person's
them
like,
with kindness and
It's
love.
you always do what's unexpected.
Yeah.
You know? You walk into our house, you're not gonna fear. I mean, you're gonna fear me, and Momo's gonna get it. Get at it because you don't expect that from her.
Right.
You expect that from me.
Yeah,
And
no
I'm
one
just gonna be
expects anything from me. They're like, that guy, bring it. If somehow I was able to overpower someone, they wouldn't tell anyone because they'd be so embarrassed. They're like, I can't believe he did that. I'm just gonna take it.
Oh my god, you're so ridiculous. Ay.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Okay.
just putting it out there.
Okay. I'm just saying, as a female looking to fuck, it's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It's really scary. I find myself, and it's interesting that you say that, but plenty of times when I read these tweets, and a lot of the times I try to reserve my comments from other people, but there's a lot of toxicity that is on social media right now, and it's not just derived towards like a particular lifestyle like DDLG or BDSM or whatnot. I think just in general, the generalization that the stupidity of men that they have over women is just grand. It's just at another level. And I think it is, and this is something that I can, definitely talk to you about as a man to man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I needed that in my life at this
Thank
point.
you. Yes, thank you. Continue,
We don't,
other man.
We don't recognize because we've never been in that situation.
Yeah.
Like 7 years ago, I would say that I could agree 100% about never being in that situation, but being so close to Janelle and like having her come home to me over the last 8 years, because she works in a very primarily male-dominated industry, and hearing the things that she says, it's like, holy shit.
Right, but what I'm saying is from your own personal experience. You
Oh,
live
no.
it through her because
Yeah.
she's lived that and you can channel that because you love her and
The
you're
empathy.
able to absorb that
Right.
that hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
saying-
like our periods are synced.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. When he says he has sympathy period symptoms,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a fucking asshole.
You do the same thing.
Yeah.
He-
We'll be complaining about our period, and he'll be like, "Oh, my stomach hurts. I think it's because of the cramp."
yeah, or he's like moody,
okay.
or
Yeah.
he wants
I
like
don't
chocolate.
even remember saying that.
You'll do it, but like jokingly because you're trying to make us smile or laugh.
Yeah,
'cause we're in
but I
pain.
truly have like my balls are in a vice. I don't know.
But
how to
in the
explain it.
real world, if you're like a woman
Yes.
who wants to hook up with a man, and they enter your hotel room or whatever room you're in, and they put their hand around your throat,
Yeah.
and you think, here's the moment I might die,
Yeah.
and I only wanted to catch that dick.
Right.
Have you ever experienced
No,
that?
I'm not
No.
trying to say I
Okay.
have.
Okay.
No, I was just saying that it's like I had no understanding of that as a society
Right.
until recently because of the fact that you've been so vocal with me about, hey, these are the things that are going on in my life. This is what's happening every day, and
Right.
you're shining a light.
Oh,
Had
yeah.
you just came home and said nothing and internalized all that and didn't share it, I wouldn't even be able to fathom that's
Yeah.
a thing.
That's
And the
the
thing about it is, usually most, and I say quote unquote men because I don't really consider those men. I feel they're in the stage of fuckboys with that type of mentality.
Yeah.
They have a penis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about all they got.
And there's plenty of that going around. And I feel like there's men out there that are right in the middle where they're still trying to define where they're going to take their headspace or their mentality. Because we don't recognize, we've never been in those situations, so we don't know how it feels. It's like, I'm 6'3". For me to visualize someone overpowering me, it's not something
No.
that,
No.
That's not
and
realistic.
It's cartoonish for
Yeah,
me.
it
It is
is.
cartoonish.
Right.
So I can't relate to what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
but when you said it, it emotionally, it's triggered me. And I think a lot of it has to do, and that's a whole different topic, but a lot of it has to do with who I am as a result of the pain that I've gone through when I was young myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all go through some sort of emotional
Absolutely.
or physical or some sort of trauma.
Absolutely.
And that trauma changes you entirely for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you become more aware of where you belong and, in this
where you
case,
wanna be.
where you want to be. And again, going back to having that respect, in women in general, just
yeah.
This show's just been pumping out the guys with that are emotionally
Secure
intelligent
and intelligent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like
Something
with
so sexy about it.
yeah, well, that's the only reason I do it. That's the only. I have nothing else going for me, so I have to be emotionally intelligent so I can lock this
well,
one
being
down.
humble is a good one too.
Oh, yeah,
You're
totally.
definitely that.
Totally.
So-
I'm 100% humble. But I just find it to be really interesting because that's one of the things that a lot of times I'm not sure that it's conveyed because especially in today's society and in our climate, no one really gives a shit what guys have to say. But that's just because we've said so much already.
and most of it,
And it was wrong.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have people that can be like, oh, I can see you and you see me and we all this stuff. And I'm trying to talk about it. And other people are like, just shut your, you got a penis. No one cares. What,
No,
what,
and you'll
what do you
never
think?
know. You'll never know what it's like to walk into a room with all men and have to, like, I purposefully dial my looks down. Like, I'm not saying I'm gorgeous or beautiful or anything, but when I know that I have to go to work and I have to be in a room full of men, I will dial back and not put makeup on and not wear a shirt that may show too much of my tits or whatever. Like, you have to be thoughtful in that because I don't want to catch that attention. I want to be
Yeah.
I want to be thought of as like a professional woman and be respected as that and not like I'm just like a piece of fucking meat that they're staring at, which is a
That they're
thing.
nitpicking.
We were just
Yeah.
just discussing that because Momo made a comment about the Dalai Lama had said something that if they
Oh.
wanted a woman to be the next president to be a
Successor.
woman, a successor, that she needed to be beautiful. And
Yeah.
Needed to be
what you
attractive.
touch right there
Yeah.
was a debate that not a debate. It was just more some sort of conversation
Yeah.
and agreement.
But the Dalai Lama, the reason why he brought that to light is because what he's trying to explain is that our country is built upon a level of status based on wealth and looks.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we're not
like
ready.
Kim,
Basically,
like
what
Kim
he's saying-
Kardashian
Yeah.
has a better chance of becoming president than Kamala Harris, who's significantly
Kamala
more
Harris
qualified.
is beautiful.
Yeah,
Actually.
and she's qualified and
Yeah.
deserves to be president.
Yeah.
But because of the way that our society is rigged, that's how a person like Trump gets elected, because it's no longer about
it's your status.
it's like how
It's
how
the
you
image
can
you
sell
portray,
it.
pretty much.
Right.
So tell us more, Momo.
What was your experience?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think it's just interesting reading it from a female's perspective, and like having even a male tell you if you want to be successful, you need to be attractive.
Yeah.
And I get why a lot of women were upset over a comment such as that, but in my head, I try to look at the deeper meaning of everything, and I see that if, speaking for myself, if a woman makes an effort to take care of herself and her appearance, then why wouldn't she take care of everyone else? It's what it comes down to. I'm not trying to look good for anyone. I just want to look good for myself.
Yeah.
And it is difficult sometimes because there are instances or occasions where you will be put in situations where a male is gonna
Objectify you?
yeah, like they're gonna taint that, and it sucks because I don't know. It's just like
I think
Yeah, no,
that's a
you're
good
absolutely
point.
right, and it's something that I struggle with, and I try to be super sensitive.
yeah.
So like I come from a place where, you know, I love my wife and I respect her and I listen to her and I try to like curtail certain actions that I may have had many years ago versus today. And there's times where like I forget, you know, and then I'm just like I will see something and I'll be like, you know, and then I'll think like, oh, I wonder what she looks like naked. And then I'm like, why would I do something like that? And then I'll say that to Janelle to be like, hey, this is what I thought. And Janelle's like, well, you're a douchebag. Why would you think that? And then we have the conversation about it. But I feel like if I hide in my brain, I'll never become a better person.
Yeah,
So
I get
even
that
though
too.
what I'm about to say might be, you know, it's because I'm trying to learn. So I have to teach myself. It's not about just not saying what's in my mind. It's like retraining the way that I think. Because for a very long time, I fell victim to that, as I feel like most dudes have. And it's not something that we ever really thought about because we weren't hurting anybody.
right, because
but-
it's in your head.
Right. But in the end, though, if you think it, you believe it, and thus you can inadvertently treat someone a certain way.
You put that energy out there.
I have
Yeah.
a rebuttal for your comment.
Rebuttal.
I would love to hear it.
My rebuttal is based on a tweet that I was having a conversation over. It was a
I'm
popular.
sorry. The rebuttal for what exactly? For the understanding of the Dalai Lama?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
I
Oh, yeah, we said a lot. No, that was
Just
good.
to
I
clarify.
get so caught up in my thoughts.
Yes. So a few days ago, there was a popular tweet that pretty much stated in fancy words that men are pigs. Most men are pigs. Most men are pigs, and that it was targeted towards we should make a change. And my comment to that was, this is how men are, sadly. And then they came back to me and said, hey, don't normalize it. And it got me thinking, because originally, when we read something and it's misunderstood and it's not what you intended to say, your first comeback is like, no, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. You want to attack. But I sat down and I absorbed it and I said, okay, what did she mean and how did she take it versus what I had said? And it's true. I think to a degree, it's important that we separate that and say, okay, if we as a society are ever going to grow, let's get past the looks, because Einstein didn't even comb his hair. He wouldn't take showers, no nothing like that. And
Okay.
he was
Yeah,
he was a mastermind.
But
was a
Einstein,
man.
yeah, but he lived in an era in which women couldn't vote, and so
Yeah.
it didn't matter what he looked like. He could vote. So we have to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if like back in the day men wore wigs. At that time, human rights were being like disregarded for like
There wasn't-
50%
Right.
of
The
society.
equality
And I
that
wasn't
there is
comparing it
today.
directly in that sense to the situation with, I hope that didn't come across that way. What I meant to say was, let's not normalize that it's a required, like something that is required. And because as a society here in our country, we need to portray an image of a woman that is to the public, that's, representative to the public, that needs to, do herself up per se, and more so what's up here. What is her heart thing? What does she think about abortion? What does she think about all these things that are truly important to protect the interest of everyone,
Right.
respecting women and respecting men and respecting the world. But
Everybody.
Right, but
Yeah.
but what he was meaning is that Kim K is going to get elected before Kamala Harris is going to get.
yes,
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So that and the issue isn't from him. The issue is because women in America. I feel like I shouldn't even be the one talking about this. Do you want to take this one?
I don't know where you're going.
I was just saying. Women have been objectified for so many years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they're not respected.
Yes.
So if you're a man and you're a male
what
voter,
what I feel like, and I could be totally off base here.
yeah,
Right. What I feel like when I am in a room with men is that I literally have like a vagina face, and they're just like, "How am I gonna fuck that?"
Yeah.
right.
That's
For
how
sure.
I feel.
Yes,
and
and-
it could
and the
be
better-
just from,
yeah.
like Roger said, like they could be from my trauma, and I've been objectified as a child, molested, all of that. I have all of that trauma
right.
in my like arsenal or whatever. So it could be that too, but I feel like men don't help the stigma
No, they don't. And
They
and,
don't.
And that's to
in
that
their
point.
everyday life. And I think that it's a work in progress. So I understand. And it's definitely better like today, obviously, than it was when you're talking about like men wearing wigs and all that
Right,
shit
of
bullshit.
course.
Dumb shit that was going on back then. But like it's not where it really should be. And that doesn't just speak for women. I don't just speak for women. I think that it goes for everybody. For everyone who's not like the norm. Like
Correct.
whatever whatever you may be, whatever you're transgender, you're gay, you're fucking whatever,
And it's everything.
asexual, pansexual, whatever that may be, it's not as far along as I think it should be in the year that we live in today.
Right, because in this day and age, especially since 2016, it's been a world of we're all in the closet, like as a country, because everyone is out there going, oh no, I'm all about equal rights and everybody's life matters, right? And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they go to vote and they're like, Trump.
Right.
And then you're like, whoa, like you can't see that because they're in a box. And then they come on, they're like, oh, I voted for Hillary. She lost. No one voted for her, right?
Dude, and I'm probably
So
gonna
we're-
come across as like so ignorant right now, and whatever. It's my podcast, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. But we were watching like Trevor Noah's like his summary on the Democratic debate, and they were like highlighting this one white older woman. Don't know her name. Who cares? She's never going to be president. But she was saying, like, I don't believe that the majority of this country is racist. And it's like, you're a white lady who probably lives in fucking, I don't know,
Tennessee, it sounded like.
or
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere. Who knows where? Who cares where? Like I said, she's never going to be anybody. But it's like, you sound stupid right now. Like, there's racism, sexism everywhere.
But you know whose fault it is,
Still.
though?
Donald Trump?
No, it's the women. It's all women's fault.
No, you can go fuck your. Just because we're fucking beautiful.
Look,
and
let
we
me-
I was gonna
smell
say that. I was
good.
gonna say that because
Uh-oh.
like me,
This
like
table's getting smaller.
like I get up to go to work, right? And I put zero effort into anything, right? And because like no one's gonna say anything to me. But then like women, like you guys are so beautiful and you do your hair, you do all this stuff. So then I start to feel like inferior and like all that stuff, and I'm just like
No.
Just so-
I'm
just-
calling your
okay.
bullshit.
just
no,
so
no,
just so
no,
everybody
no,
knows I was
no.
trying to play devil's advocate
Yeah,
and it
no,
doesn't
that
work.
Does not
doesn't
work.
work.
It doesn't
No,
work.
that
Janelle
does
knows
not-
me too well. She knows for
No.
a fact.
No.
But hey, I want because I hate to listen to podcasts where everything's always one sided. So I was trying to pick the douchebag side.
No, nobody wants to hear that.
You know,
That's
it's,
what makes
what
things
you said earlier
You're right.
resonates in so many ways, and not just from a political perspective point of view, where someone goes in the box and votes for someone else. the lifestyle that people live. I've met submissives, and I'm
Yeah.
going to be really short about this because sometimes I go on a rant, but
No.
not me.
What?
Do what you want to do. It's your time. It's your time.
I met a submissive woman that lived out in Big Bear, okay? And you got to keep in mind that a part of me, I grew up in the legal system and dealing with a lot of like that's the type of society in the legal aspect, but I was raised in the hood, okay? So I'm not afraid of going into South Central where there's a liquor store and everybody's just hood with just being in the hood. I'm afraid of going to Big Bear
Yeah.
up in the woods and
Oh,
get
me
attacked
too.
by a bear because he doesn't know what gang I belong to.
Yeah.
He's just hungry and he's
like
gonna get me.
he's like, you rolling with them raccoons?
So we pretty much went in. I went in to go meet with her, and when I got there, she opened up to me before we even started or anything like that. She opened up to me at a different level, and she started telling me everything and all the traumas that she was going through. And I said, I can't do this with you because there's a lot of things that you need to deal with
Right.
first.
Right.
And it was hard for me because my mind is always in the back. It's like, you need, she's fucking hot. Do
Yeah.
something with it.
Yeah.
But I also feel that now that I'm a lot more mature in my, in my mind, I'm just thinking that's selfish.
Like you had a responsibility to like understand where she was coming from.
Yes.
And
when
not
she sat
exploit it.
down, and going back to what you said, when she sat down and she started explaining to me, she lived in a family that was conservative. And she didn't say it because I felt like she couldn't say it, but she implied that some shit was going down in her
Yeah.
house that was not healthy at all.
Yeah.
And then later with the years, I found out that, she was being molested and abused by pastors of the church, different pastors of the church and whatnot.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm not personally attacking any religion because
Yeah.
sin is sin. I believe in God myself, but that's a different topic. Long story short, the way that she opened up to me and the things that she expressed to me and the concerns just put me in a different headspace and thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
These are people that we as a society, they as a society shut us down. You're doing this. You're
Right.
evil. You're doing
Right.
that. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, there's just secretive people
Yeah,
behind
because
closed doors.
of their status or their money.
have to keep an
They
image.
have to keep an image, but behind closed doors, they're doing all this dirty shit.
it's toxic.
It is very toxic.
And
so,
and it's that toxicity. I feel like we said that word a bunch of times, and then I hear
love
the
that
song
word.
in my head. Put up the keys on my makeup. Okay, but I think that it's that
don't
kind
you
of
just
stuff
trust-
that leads to violence, right? These like people who have these
Find these
demons,
motives.
and then suddenly like it's too much for them to handle, and then they lash out and they do something horrible or they hurt themselves or
Yeah.
so and because they just can't talk about it. And
Yes.
I know we say this all the time, so we'll reiterate it again. If you're feeling any of those things, you need therapy. There's nothing wrong with therapy. Go out, talk to a psychologist and get help. But talk to someone because that
Yeah.
stuff you start to like pile on and pile on
It's
and
heavy.
then yeah.
and
heavy
talk
to
about
carry.
it with someone that's also able to to listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to find someone that's a good listener
yeah.
and just express your feelings.
Oh yeah, like I've gone through several therapists. I'm like, nope, you're shit. No, you're a piece of shit. No, I don't want to talk to you. And then I found one that was like vibing with me, listened to me, understood what I was thinking, saying. She totally got me. And so, I talked to my son about that. My older son, he's doing fine, but he struggles with like anxiety and things. And I'm like, he didn't like his therapist that he went to. I'm like, it doesn't matter that you didn't like the first therapist. Go to another therapist. Try a different therapist. So
Yep.
we always try to just say that we're not professionals. We're not trying to like
But it's important that
psychoanalyze
yeah.
anybody, but this is our opinion.
But people need to talk. So I'm going to segue into something, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So, like,
wait.
I do comedy, and I did a show, and I say all this stuff, and I talk about our sex life, and we laugh, and nothing I say is derogatory. It's all just like fun, quirky things that other people, because they can't believe that that's happening, they laugh. And I think a lot of it can be out of being uncomfortable or whatever it is, but they laugh a lot at the jokes that we do. And then, so Janelle and I were just talking about, like, is the idea, is for females, so the three of you have to answer, the idea for females, like, if someone knows that you've had sex or you suck a dick, do you think that would instantly make them think less of you? So I'm going to kick it off to Mittens.
I think so. Especially, I don't know, at least in my experience, I don't have a lot. And the people that know me at work and stuff, they, like, it was funny. The coworker, we talked about the podcast and everything, and she was like, I didn't know you were like that. And, like, she didn't mean it in a bad way. I didn't feel insulted or attacked, but it made me think, like, oh, yeah, like, to everyone else, like, you know, I have this expectation to hold the standard. But behind closed doors, like, you know, if I do that, like, it's like, oh, okay.
They're
like,
judging you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Momo?
I do feel like there is a sort of judgment, just because it's natural in a person to kind of, based on their morals or how they were raised, it's like everyone has a different bar, obviously, but there is going to be some sort of judgment, whether they're open-minded or more reserved about the things that they've done and what they're comfortable with. It's kind of like, oh, I didn't think about this person in a certain way. So that image is going to stay with them. But speaking for myself, I feel like over time that image just kind of fades away, and the way that how they perceive me doesn't really make a difference to who I am as a person. But it's hard. Sometimes I fall into that rhythm of thinking that way and thinking like, oh my gosh, like people are going to judge me for the things that I do. People are going to, you know, like have a different image of who I am or treat me differently. And it happens every so often, but I'm still happy with who I am. And I think that's all that matters. So.
Yeah.
Janelle?
Well, my opinion comes from a little bit of a different place because, like, my boss was at his show and the boss's boss was at his show.
Okay.
So, like, in middle to end of Ron's set where he's talking about our open marriage or how I suck his dick or how we did anal for the first time, the next day I had to be in a meeting. Like, at 8 a.m. I had to be in a meeting where I had to see these people again, which, I mean, that kind of matters, but doesn't. I mean, I'm going to work with these people again, but like, you know, 9-10 hours later, I'm going to be face to face in a conference room with them. And I just started to get in my head about it. Like, what are these people going to be thinking the next time they see me? Like, they're going to be thinking my husband was just talking about me fucking, sucking, getting it in the ass. Like, and as a female, like, I was thinking, like, am I just a piece of, like, am I just like a hole? Am I just a hole for my husband to fuck?
Yeah.
Which it's not. It's all for my pleasure and I'm having a good time. Like, I'm not anyone's,
Right. No,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know what you're saying. And it brings up the reason why I put this out there, because we had a conversation about it and it brought up a really interesting point, because when I'm there talking about my dick and I put my dick in people's heads, they laugh and they move on. So to me, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's my dick. It's not a big deal. But the idea that just because someone now knows that, you know, it's like if you saw your friend, like a picture of your friend's dick or something, you'd be like, okay, whatever. But a friend sees a picture of your tits and then suddenly like, it's different. Yeah. And I don't really think about how it's different. And we've talked about it, and there's like, it didn't change anything in the workspace or stuff. But it's just like, this is why we have this podcast, because what we're trying to do is get people to stop thinking of a person who says that they sucked a dick as a negative thing. Like, you want to be able to have a friend where you talk about the things that you do, because you can't keep it all to yourself all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you can't tell someone that, you know, I've said on this podcast that I had a person's, like another guy's mouth on my dick. Rewind 5 years, I would have never, A, been in that situation, B, let anyone know that. Because I would be afraid that it would change the way people view me. Right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then when I was in the situation with Janelle, I was like, oh, like, that sucks that you have to think that way, but we have to push that. We have to try to push the envelope. We have to try to make it so normal that the idea of someone sucking a dick is just the same as someone getting like French fries at McDonald's. Like, like there's no difference.
Because that's how easy it is.
Well, for you, I can't suck a dick.
Talking about like
I can't suck. Like I can't go suck a dick.
There's something interesting about what you said. Me and Momo were in the kitchen. My mom was there with us, and she said she turned around and looked at Momo, and she said, "Don't ever let any man take your essence of a woman." And it just, I think me and Momo were just like, because she said it in Spanish.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, okay.
No dejes que nadie te robe tu esencia. And then we started, okay, well, we need to Google the full definition of essence but at the end of the day, I realized essence is unique to every woman in who they are.
Yeah.
Every woman has their own essence. And no matter what people, no matter what men, women, because sometimes it's women versus, sometimes a woman's worst enemy is another woman.
Right.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day,
Sadly.
you know, I think that as long as you personally don't let anybody take that essence, that's just going to build upon who you are, and it's going to make you stronger.
Which is, I think, was the takeaway. It wasn't as eloquently put as that.
I don't take credit for it,
but I think that was the takeaway of what we had, right?
Yes.
Like you know, like nothing I said was malicious or done to make you.
No, and it wasn't. I tried to explain to you it wasn't about you.
Oh yeah, I understood 100%. I thought it was a good conversation because we have other women.
No, it is
in
a
the
good
room.
conversation. My frustration with the conversation or the topic is that if I just had a dick, I wouldn't even have to worry about my essence.
Yeah,
Right.
because then you'd like boasting about it would just give
Yeah.
you more.
That's
See,
that's
for
the
men,
frustrating
I
part.
feel like for men is a little bit different. For men is more like, and then obviously it can apply for both. But as for me, I think it has a lot to do with like more of integrity, and it's not something that you show, the image that you portray to the world, is the integrity that you have in yourself. Like not something that you need to shine upon what you drive, how much money you make, your status, what you look like. This, you know.
Yeah, but you're with me. We're like part of the 1%. This is the one time where the
hope
1% is good. But
I hope so.
But we're trying, like, this whole podcast, the whole vision of this show has always been to fight against the other 99% that are afraid to talk about the things that they like. If you lived a really pure life where you're a good person, and you raise your kids good to like love everyone equal and all that stuff, and everything about you is, whether it's religion based or non-religion based, if you just lived a really good life and you heard our show, you would be like, okay, not for me, but cool. But it's always, but that's, so many people are like, no, I can't believe you would say that.
Yeah, they won't even like be open to the idea.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, like, you know, like, you've never like taken a dick, you know, like, why, why wouldn't you talk about it? Like, what is the big deal? Like, I feel like the reason why we have a hard time electing women as president, I feel like the reason why it's such a big thing in 2019 is because of the fact that women are sexualized, and the idea of sex is this dirty, hidden thing that people only do when the door is closed. And if we can break down that wall and bring sex to the people, which is, you know, super important. I know it sounds crazy. Like, I'm not trying to say that I want Janelle and I to have sex in front of everyone, but I'm just saying, like, it's okay to talk about it.
I think it makes up for a
Yes.
big part of like people as a whole. Like
Yeah.
sexuality is a part of who we are as human beings. Like, we're able to be passionate about it more than any other animal.
Yeah.
Like, what would happen if Catholic priests could marry and could have sex with a man or a female at their desire, like whatever their desires are, like just go live your life.
Then
and
they
you
wouldn't.
can still serve God.
They may not molest as many children
I don't know.
as
I don't
they
know
do.
if that's. I don't know if that's the case
Because
because
you have to think.
I think if you molest a child, you probably have some deeper rooted issues going
Yeah.
on.
Right,
Yes.
but
Right? Yeah.
if they had, I'm just saying, it may not make a lot of a difference, but it
let
may
them go
help
express
some.
Temptation
themselves.
is still there.
Yeah, so it's like if they go and they
Yeah.
get married and they have a wife that maybe they can have these visions in their head, but then they have a way to have an outlook.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't even have an outlet, and now they go out and they break down and they get drunk and
They
they do
fall
this
apart.
stuff. And so I feel
Act
like
on impulse.
Yeah.
I get it.
so, and you know, this weekend it really just kind of, not this weekend, it was during the week, but on Thursday night it really made me think, like, it made me more frustrated than anything, because I hated the fact that
You
we
were
can't
irritated.
have, yeah,
Just be honest.
because it's like we can't just have fun without having to like deal with
Have
the
you been-
judgment of other people.
Do you get a lot of judgment?
This is the whole reason we started this show. I don't know if I think we talked about it in our episode, our first time, but the whole reason we did this show is because I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while. And that the only reason I even did stand-up comedy was in hopes that it would lead to enough followers to get a podcast. So when it turned out to be that we were going to these shows and I came up with these jokes and people were like dying laughing, but at the end of the show, they would always go up to Janelle and be like, you let them talk about you like that? And then Janelle's like, she's the one that was like, who cares? It's just sex. It's not like it's a big deal.
I remember that.
So then I'm like, when we first started the show, I was like, that's what it should be called. Like, so what? It's just sex. Like you shouldn't feel. See, for a guy, like I can't even understand what this is like, and it's just through conversation with Janelle that I'm trying to learn it. But you can't learn how it feels. You can just learn what it is. Yeah. And one of the things that she brings up is that it sucks that she can't just be like, yeah, I did this stuff, and then that's it. Like it's not a good or bad or this. It just is what it is. Like there shouldn't be anything else around it. So for me to be able to talk about the first time we had anal shouldn't be something where someone's like, oh my God, I would never let anybody say that about me. Well, first off, have you ever done anal? No. Okay. So shut the fuck up. And I told this lady one time, I said, she's like, I'm a Catholic and we don't talk about sex like that, but I thought you were funny. I was like, well, you haven't had good sex because if you did, you'd tell everyone. So it's like, that's how the whole thing comes about. So there is some judgment. And I feel like we've kind of come out to a majority of people, I guess, through the show and about our lifestyle. And I think that
the people that I know and that love me, they know. And the shows helped us do that, through talking about it and all that stuff. But we still get, people who kind of go, No, yeah. I hate that. I hate when they come up to me and they're like, oh, I can't believe, you're a good sport. It's like, what the fuck?
I'm not doing him a favor.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm not a good sport. Like, he's just talking about our life. Like, why am I a good sport?
It's not, they think I make it up.
Yeah, like, no,
I have to say that all the time.
It's not even that. It's, they may think it's true or think it's true, but they think I'm a good sport for for putting up with it. Yeah. And it's like, that's not a thing.
Not what you're doing.
Do you ever make the extra effort, and I know you shouldn't, but where you need to address it? Do you ever address it?
No, because I'm trying to be like a well-behaved wife and supporting him in his show. I feel like I'm from New York, so I can get real crazy real quick.
No, I tell her all the time.
I think you can own it.
I could own it. No, I could fucking own it, but I don't want to get too hyphy with these people. Because I'm not trying to I don't know, take away fans that he may have or whatever.
But you want real fans.
No, well, I tell them all the time when someone comes to me about it and they go, the question I get a lot is that stuff true? And I'm like,
she's
yeah,
a real good sport.
And then I tell them all the time. I was like, well, I wish she would go up there because she's the funny one. Like all of my jokes come from the things that we've done that her and I have had a conversation about and that she's gone and been like, and I'm like, oh my God, that's super funny. I'm going to go do that and I'll do it on stage. You know what I mean? So, and the thing is I want to tell jokes about my period because of all the funny shit that she has. But
my period sweater. He's like, are you going to go out in that sweater? I'm like, I have my period. I'm wearing this sweater. And I was like, all right.
Comfy clothes.
I go inside. I go put lipstick on. He was like, all right, you put lipstick on. I was like, yeah, I put lipstick on. And I have a period sweater on.
Yeah. And I was like,
it's okay.
Yeah. So I when I went on stage on Thursday, I wanted to be like, I almost wore my period sweater, but I woke up this morning and it was gone just so that I can, because I thought that was a really well done joke. A majority of my jokes are hers. Oh, look at that. It's so loud. Wow. It was so loud. Holy Jesus. Come on, Roger. You got one job.
My apologies.
One job.
I just sneezed.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I try to keep it as quiet as possible.
So, I know this is random, but have you guys watched The Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Yes.
Okay, this is exactly what is going on in my head right now.
No, that's her.
Yeah.
But if you listen to this show, if I can edit the show where I cut Janelle out of everything, it would be the most boring show ever. It would just be.
I think it's you got that.
No,
but I do have a question for you.
Yes.
So,
I like being asked.
Do you ever is there ever a switch to how you feel and I should address this to all three of you, but if you've been in that situation as she has, but have you ever been in a situation where the switch is the other way, and when you walk in and you know that everybody's just got your attention and you switch it up and say, I'm in control? Do you ever feel that? Or
Fuck yeah.
okay.
Oh, fuck yes. I'm like, damn, I look good today. I know all these guys.
Because for us,
looking
it's
at
the
my
other way
tits.
around. At least for me as a man, that feeling is hardly ever there. I've experienced that as a man where I walk in.
It's because you've always been there. So you don't have the highs and lows. We've never been there. So
I was there
excuse me?
one time in 1996.
that's not true.
Maybe
That's not a true story.
that I
You're
felt
lying.
like
That sounds
that I felt like I walked into a room and all eyes were on me, and I was like, what?
When and where? And that's not true.
Quoted
I had my
Tupac.
jumper on.
All eyes on me. You
Yeah.
quoted like 3 gang
All
members
eyes
right now.
on me. No, that's not true.
I had
That's
my
not
jumper
true.
on. My
Yeah,
my
but-
overalls.
But also, I feel like that hasn't wielded me any more power. Like it's like cool. I
They're
could
just
feel
like moments.
Yeah, it's moments.
Yeah.
Like exactly. Like I could feel myself in a moment, but I don't think that gains me any traction in my
Yeah.
career or my life or whatever. Maybe if I'm trying to fuck some guy and I'm like, yeah, I'm really feeling myself. You want to come over and fuck me? He's like, yeah, okay. But then I think guys are just like always down to fuck. So I don't even feel special in those moments.
It's like
Which
there
is-
wasn't a lot of effort put
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
see, but that change. Like I don't know. Like if I feel like for me, and this is just, it could be naivety in my brain,
It is.
but like
I'm sure it is.
if in the event I was like, oh, can I get a cup of coffee? And then someone's like, hey, how are you doing today? I'd be like, I'm doing really good. Thanks for asking. And then they'd be like, let me get that cup of coffee for you. And I'd be like, all right. And they'd be like, yo, can I get your number? I'd be like, you can have anything you want now. I'm all yours. And that's because I don't know. I've never in my life experienced that. There's never been one time in which, like, for me, it's always been like, okay.
Excuse me. I was the one that approached you,
I'm talking-
motherfucker.
I'm-
And I was the one that kissed you first, motherfucker. And I was the one that approached you. So don't even say that didn't happen one time in your
No,
life. That did
you're-
happen one time in
I'm
your
talking
life.
about outside of our relationship.
Okay. Preface it with that.
Oh, let me preface it.
Yeah.
Let me preface this with outside of our relationship that
You've
has
never
never
met
happened.
another Janelle, is what
No.
you're saying.
You're right,
One of a
Thank
kind.
you.
but you have met tons and like of
Yeah, because
dudes.
guys are just like, here's my dick, let's go fuck. Like, whatever. It's so easy. It's like, okay, fuck you. Okay, great.
so like, do you think that that's the thing? Like, is there ever men that you're like, oh, I'm gonna go walk up to this dude? Like, you ever take the first step?
No, only because it just seems too easy.
It's very
Oh,
easy.
And we started this whole
then-
like Roger. We
yeah.
started
It's
this
so
podcast as
easy.
the plight of women in 2019, right? Okay, Mittens, do you feel the same way?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking
There's
Christ!
like no effort put into it versus.
Look, I don't want to speak for you, Roger. You just tell me if you agree or disagree. But if I were to walk up to random women, I could probably get arrested.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of it has to do
That
your
is
approach.
true.
I've learned a lot from really good men in growing up, mentors in my life, that I absorb certain qualities of them as men, from their work ethics to their personal lifestyle, to guys that have walked in as a kid. I was like 19, and when a friend of mine, a mentor, said, I'm going to walk out with that woman. And that woman was the most beautiful woman in the party.
Yeah.
And that particular scenario for me was like mind blowing, because this guy was not good looking at all, at all.
That's
And
the
my approach, it was just like, I need to see this. And then by the end of the night, he's like, hey, take the car. We're going to take a taxi. I was like, okay.
Oh, that was a long time ago. That was back when taxis.
So
For all you millennials, taxis are these things that you used to call, and they'd be like $25 to go 5 miles.
Right,
It was
not what
very
you-
expensive.
not what you pay the government at the end of the year. Those are taxes.
Yeah, right. Those are taxes,
Yes.
not taxis.
But he said something, and when outside of that, I had a conversation with him. I said, how did you do it? How? I want to know the secret. And he said, look, in that particular scenario, that woman is going to have everyone looking at her. I didn't do that. I only looked at her once. And then from there, I minded my own business.
Oh, I've done that. So I've done the ignoring them. I've done the start a conversation, get my drink and be like, all right, take it easy. And then never talk to them again. I've done the never look at them. I've done the get in a really good conversation. Oh, I got to go do something and then leave and then hope to see them again later. No, I have no vibe.
You can make people laugh. And that is a great way to great gateway to go in there.
Yeah.
You make them laugh and it works.
Yes, that is a very good way. That is a very good way to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's borne no fruit yet. It is borne no fruit yet. But it's fine.
We gotta polish that.
No, but see, here's the thing is
And I was like,
I truly believe that I think it's about the level of effort that I put in, because I do think that in the back of my head, every time I go to talk to someone or even when I'm texting with someone, I'm not I really don't care if they, because I get to come home to my wife, right? Yeah. I have Janelle in my life, so it's what I'll be like, hey, you want to fuck? Oh, I never hear them from that. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. But I won't ever say that because I don't want to be creepy. So I'm like, hi. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, we're in a friend zone now. This is great. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. And then I'm like, Janelle, I got friend zoned again.
So, Ron, I have a question for you. You're at X scenario. It could be a bar. Let's just paint a scenario at the bar. Okay.
Well, I'm a stripper at a strip club.
No, this one doesn't work for that.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just, for the story, I wanted to be.
You're
okay, I'm at a bar. I'm at a bar.
And you find someone attractive. Okay.
Yes.
What do you normally? What would be your approach? You're interested.
I'd go, Janelle, look at her. Go talk to her. And then Janelle will be like, okay. And then all of a sudden, Janelle will be like, I'm going home with this chick. I'll see you guys later.
Not true.
I'm kidding.
That's
never
happened.
No. But no, my approach has always been
I've
Janelle.
been there,
but let's say Janelle's not there. I'll try to find a way to get in her proximity. So if she's over at the bar, when I go order my drink, I'll wait till there's a spot right next to her, and then I'll order my drink, but I won't look. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, I'll have my drink, and then I might do one of these. I did a look.
The look.
I did a little side look. Yeah, so what am I doing wrong? Nothing.
I mean, you just had one of these situations.
Do you ever? Okay, so.
Oh wait, when did I have this?
You
situation?
had when I was gone. You were at the place.
Oh,
our
my
local
God.
watering hole.
I did.
And
I had
you just told me that you tried to talk. The mom came up to you first or whatever.
Yeah, so I was talking to this girl,
Yeah.
and she was touching me, and she was laughing and doing the whole. And I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with her?" And I realized she's super drunk. So now I'm like, "Oh fuck, she's really drunk." I'm like, "But that's okay. This is what I wanted. Give it to me. Keep touching me." So then this lady walks up behind us and she goes, "Oh, you need to meet my mom. Mom, this is Ron. He's a comedian, blah, blah, blah." Because I totally played the comedy card. Of course. Obviously. I got, I have a few cards to work with. So I'm like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." She's like, and then her mom's like, "Introduce him to your mom." Yeah, you're your own cock block. The mom totally dogs her right in front of me. And I was just like, "Oh." And then she went and sat down, and then I had to go to the bathroom or something. So I put my drink next to her, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go use the restroom. If you're gonna roofie me, make sure you let me know so I don't pass out on the floor. Take whatever." Mm-hmm. And I made a little roofie joke, and she's like, "I'm not gonna roofie you." So then I come back, and she's talking to her mom. So I grab my drink and go, and I never talked to her again.
Why? What happened there? That you just went Matrix right there for a second?
Because I started thinking to myself, I was like, okay. I first of all, the first thing I thought of is she's too drunk. So I'm out of my head.
Gotcha.
And then she's hanging out with her mom, and I was just like, I don't want her mom to be like, what?
Difference of scene.
Yeah, I don't want her mom to be like, why is this old man hitting on my daughter? You know what I mean? She's like, that guy he's only at this place because he wants the one thing, And I'd be like, that's true, but I'd eat the pussy. I'd be really nice about it. I'd be a nice guy. So yeah, I don't know how to help that. But I think I don't want it enough. I think I say that I do. I'm all like, But in reality, I just don't. I just want. Yeah, I just want. It's I wish Tinder worked because it'd be easier.
Yeah.
Just no effort in that. Where's the struggle in that?
That easy.
Oh, where's the struggle? I've fucking been on Tinder for 3 years and I've got 9 hits.
That's a
I
very.
don't know. I feel like at least for me, at some point, and it's not necessarily that I've played hard to get. It's not. I've played hard to get at times, yes,
Yeah.
but that's not my. I don't feel that's my strong. I think my strong is being patient, because
Yeah, that is a skill.
particularly when it comes to, and now we're going back into the lifestyle. A lot of submissive, and I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying a lot of submissive women lack patience. And when you are a patient man and you show that you are more patient than them, then you have their interest.
Yeah, but
Oh,
When I'm
good.
in-
Momo's
when I'm-
talking. No, wait, Momo's saying.
She knows why, and I know why she said that.
Janelle, you want to take it?
No, I as a submissive to you anyway, a submissive person, I'm like teaching myself how to be patient,
yeah,
even though it's frustrating because I want attention
all the time.
Yes.
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
It's like you need to be
Yes.
paying me attention. If I'm gonna give you the gift of my pussy, you're needing to give me attention.
Right.
Like that's it.
And then that's where you defined how you want to get that attention, because now you're talking about how you feel you most identify. For example, Mariel lacks patience. And so she derives that into being bratty. And so sometimes she gives me an attitude that I'm able to understand where she's coming from. Momo's still working with how she needs to understand how Mittens behaves when it comes to
I
that.
feel
But-
like I understand it. I think I don't know how to manage it.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, but Mittens, you're like a cat, right? You're like a
Yeah.
little kitty cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you never read a meme that says, that has a cat on it that says, "Oh, please, now's the time that I really want to have." It's always like, "No, leave me the fuck alone right now," or "I tell you when I want it. I'm gonna knock this shit over."
There's totally an on
I'm
and
gonna-
off switch with me.
Oh yeah, and that's how cats are.
Yeah. Yes.
Like cats are.
And I
on
and I
off.
give her that. Like I'm able to have her enjoy her headspace to a degree. I say, okay, well, you want to be a kitten, you want to be a brat, go ahead. The whole. Have you ever seen those videos on YouTube? I'm sure where cats like to knock down.
Yeah,
shit
they knock
all
the
time.
shit over, and you're like, "Don't do that," and they push
Well,
it more.
when I met Mittens, her interactions with me were completely like a big fucking no for me.
Yeah.
Because she would try to get my attention, and the way that she would try to get my attention, she would come to me and she'd be like, "Hey," and she would kick me. or if she wanted to get my attention, she would punch me in the ribs. And I'm just like, no, that's not going to happen ever. And at first,
Well, that's what happens when you adopt a cat from a shelter. You don't know what its life was like before.
Wild
and,
cat.
and,
know.
and she put that to the test.
And then when people come over, they're like, "Oh
see
my
how you
god,
would
your
react."
cat's so
Right.
cute."
Yeah.
But
like you
but we
already
all
know.
have our limitations. I said, okay, this is how far you can go with me, but I'm in charge. Even
Yeah.
if I let you be in charge, I'm still in charge. That's my mentality. So she's learned a lot and she's been open a lot, but she lacks that patience. Momo lacks patience in other aspects of the lifestyle. But she is much more. She's gained a lot more. She's understood a lot more.
Like
so it
what?
takes me a lot more time
Oh
to dissect her.
snap!
And do you like patience in anything? Like, do you have a moment where you get frustrated, where you're lacking patience?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
Oh.
curious about that
I want to know. I'm trying to think.
because these are very beautiful women that you have.
Of
here.
course they are.
Okay. So, and even though they're submissive, like I feel like they have power over you
Oh,
in
yeah.
a certain degree. I don't know the
do.
dynamic.
Oh.
I may be
But they
speaking
do.
out of turn.
no, but let me tell
I'm
you.
just saying they're gorgeous, and I'm
Yes.
saying like there could be moments where you,
I'm powerless.
yes,
They
powerless.
know. They know that I'm on my hands and knees for them in everything and anything that I do.
Yeah. All the time.
Because if and I'm not this can come straight from them.
Yeah.
But for example, on our road trip here, they went out and we went out to Target and they said get snacks. Okay, so they went their way and I went my way because I already knew what they were gonna do. I said, okay, I already know they're going to go for the Doritos and the chips and all that, candies and whatnot. And I'm thinking, okay, I need to take care of them. It's going to be 8 hours. I'm going to be driving. It can get expensive.
Yeah.
Little by little,
Oh,
whether
absolutely.
you realize it or not,
Yeah.
it can get pretty expensive. I said,
Gas
okay.
and snacks and all that shit.
So I headed over to the cooler area. I found like one on special that was a good size. And
Yeah.
then I went out and said, okay, I need to get strawberries. I need to get cucumbers. I need to get mangoes. I need to get this, and this and that. I came home, chopped it all up, put it in the little containers, put little... What is it? Tahini, the little spicy powder
Perfect.
on the side. Put it in the freeze and whatnot. We're driving, and now they're hungry, and we're on the road, and I'm like, there's this and there's that, and they open it, and they're like, whoa, But if I do that just because I expect something in return, then I'm never gonna get anywhere because I don't.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I feel my patience kicks in. Like I have to be patient. I have to earn my way.
It's like when I do the dishes.
Yes.
I can't I can't get a blowjob immediately. I have to do it a couple times and then be like, hey, remember those times I did the dishes? No, I get
This is just a bit, by the
No,
way.
but the thing
I
is
will
that-
suck his dick without him doing the dishes.
No, you're right. But what I'm saying is that's what he's equating patience to.
I understand
It's
that.
like he does these things over and over because
What
he
it
has to take
means,
a-
what I'm hearing is that I need to be more demanding and expecting more.
Wait a second.
Then
How
the
can you
dishes.
how can you be
Wait.
expecting more?
I
You
don't-
are so demanding.
I want fruit that's cut up with tahini on that. I want that.
Here's the bigger issue here. This is my question
Yeah.
to you.
Yes, to me. Bring it.
Please ask him
I
questions.
don't
I'm
understand
all
what's
balls.
going on here.
No, I'm all dick.
Who's in charge of
There's nobody.
Oh,
in
no.
charge.
So
The only
There's
reason
nobody.
I'm saying is they need to ask me permission if they want to give me a blowjob.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh yeah, no.
So-
So here's the thing. So
No, that doesn't happen.
so
in this
so we
house.
so we
No.
have two modes. We have the mode that the power exchange is equal, and we have sex and however which way we want it, and then there are times where it's she'll put on her little onesie that says I love daddy, and her hair is in pigtails.
That's so
and
fucking cute.
oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. And then
I'd
she's
love
like,
to see
And that's when
that.
she's in charge.
and then
Yeah.
it seems like I'm the one in charge,
Yeah.
but in reality it's her. And then she gets bratty, and then she'll be like, yeah. And then she will she hasn't done this, but she'll be like, I touched a boy's dick, and I'm like, why would you do that? And she's like, because I wanted to.
Oh my god.
I'm like, and you didn't tell me? No. And I'll be like, well, and then she'll want a spanking, and
See, I got that switch. I do that outside of the bedroom. I cater to them outside of the bedroom.
Oh.
Inside of the bedroom,
we start out here. We start right here on this table where you guys are sitting. I've come there. I've come there. No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
right.
what is
No.
this sticky mess here?
No, but it's the thing is it's a dynamic that we enjoy when the moment arises, but in all reality, 100% of the time, whether it be in that space or in just how like not in that space sex, that Janelle's still in control. So regardless of how submissive
But
she is,
you're aware of that, and
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
and you embrace that as
of
well.
course,
You're perfectly fine
even
with that.
even when I'm choking her or I'm spanking
No,
her, or
I don't know.
you're still in control.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you feel like I'm in control.
She trusts you enough for you.
Well, yeah, of course,
power exchange.
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
There's a-
But
a
it's
fine line.
but you're giving me that control, so it's still your. I can't just be like tell you to do it right now, and if you're not in that mindset, you're not going to do it.
No, it has to be a moment.
So there you go. So it's like
Meekness. You ever heard that word? Meekness.
Meek?
Power under control.
that's it.
Meekness.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a good word.
Yeah.
So what? It's just sex.
Wait a minute.